So very good morning to all of you. My name is Professor Adil Makbul. I am the Dean Faculty of Commerce in this university. I hope you have covered all the 4 units of your research methodology course, and I hope that you have understand that what exactly in each unit you have learned. So this is the 5th unit, the last unit, which covers thesis writing, publication and publication ethics. A little bit of the presentation, how to present your final work, that are also be included in this unit. So first of all, I would like to ask you what is a research report or any kind of a report. It will be better if you people come to this phase. If you have done any work, at the last you will have to present that, or you have to bring that work, your investigation, your survey, in a form of a report. So, for every research process, the final conclusion, a culmination of your work is to bring it into a document that is useful for the people who need that. So, we will discuss not only the thesis writing, but what is a scientific report and how to make a scientific report. So, this is the contents regarding the structure and components of scientific reports. It is better first you have to know what is a scientific report. A scientific report is a structured document. It's a structured document in which your entire research process will have to be included, and that may give you the final result of your entire research work. So a research report is a culmination of research process. It's a conclusion of a research process. It is a comprehensive presentation of a researcher's activities and the results of your study, what you have investigated and what you have, the survey you have made and the responses you have collected, that is to be interpreted in the form of your research analysis, and that is to be presented at last. So a research report could be an individual project report, such as a master's degree dissertation or a thesis. For doctoral study, for example, the individual research report on effect of class size of teaching, practice and students' behavior and attainment, or any other topic that is related to your your subject, that may be of medicine, science, social science, humanities, whatever. So that is the topic on which the entire report you have to be presented in the form of a document. So a report could be a product of a collaborative group research work. If it is a project, for example, the report of a UNICEF or a World Bank, a state project entailing nutrition, health, education, environmental sanitation and impact on the study, or any other, for example, the financial literacy amongst the rural women in Lucknow city, for example. So that is the topic on which the entire report you have to make by collecting data, analysis of the data, graphical representation and the statistical table of that data you have to be present in the form of a report, or that is to be included in the report. So in other words, research report is an end product of your entire work process that you have adopted. So it contains the description of events, pertinent facts discovered during your investigation, in conclusion and recommendation for the future research in which the others people can further increase that report. And this work you will have to do in your PhD after completing your coursework. Then you will have to start the research process. And most of you have already been started the review of literature. I think so. Huh? Not started? How many of you started? How many of you done the review of literature of at least 50? Gone through the 50 literatures? No, not yet. It should be 50, more than 50. My research scholars, they do more than 100. So, so in other words, you can say a research report is a statement of results of an investigation or any matter on which the definite information is required. This is the definition given by the Oxford English Dictionary. So the above decision emphasizes that a research report is a tangible product or output, especially a written, printed, or published document for communicating specific data and ideas to an audience. So there is nothing special in this, only how you can write your thesis, your report of a project is to be included. So the above discussion emphasizes that a research report is a tangible product or output, especially a written, printed or published document for communicating specific data and ideas to an audience. Audience means the persons who require your report. It's a scientific report. It's a report on the innovation of a medicine. It's a scientific report on a particular disease, the symptoms of a particular disease, or the results of your investigation or experiment that is to be documented in the form of a report. And the audience is the persons who need your report or they can use your report. So it contains information which are observed or investigated with a specific purpose. So it is a record for future use of other researchers or research scholars and scholarly output of or to disseminate the ideas and information amongst the required. Now come to the purpose of research report. So the first point is that dissemination of research outcome or findings that you have investigated through survey or experiment. Use a reference material or for review of related literature to get guidance and record and utilize the findings for further work. This is another purpose of making a final report or your thesis. The third is the utilization of research recommendations for decision making. In case of, for example, in my field, the consumer satisfaction towards a particular hotel, which or if a person is going to open a gym in a particular locality, so they have to investigate that the people need that gym in that locality or not. That is to be investigated through a small questionnaire or survey, and then they have decided whether to open a gym or not. So this is the utilization for the decision maker who may be a businessman or a doctor or a researcher or a scientist. Reproduction of a research method in different contexts is through the from the review of literature. A medium to share research experience and results of the research. So these are the basic purpose of research report. Now come to the structure of a research report. So the first and an important thing that you have to put in your research report is the title. What is the title? And how do you get the title? You are now at this stage to get the title. I have decided the title. Yes. How? How can you decide the title?
By identifying the problem,
How you identify the problem?
area of interest,
Area of interest. Okay, that is one of the factor.
previous work.
Yes, you have to go to the previous work. Whether the title or the area of interest you have decided or you are going to do is already done by some other scientist, some other researcher. So before getting a research gap or identifying a research gap, you cannot decide your title. Okay, so you people are not at this stage of deciding a title unless you have to go through the previous work of the other researchers. They have already been done. So the title is the first part in your report that has to be put on the top of your report. So what is the purpose of a title? To sum up your work in a single phrase or a sentence. It needs to be clear, specific, very brief. Its meaning should be obvious to the most readers. So whenever you are deciding a title, you have to think that the people who are reading my work or going through my report, they are not known people. They are not known to that subject. So it should be very clear, very specific. That has to be understandable to the people who are going through your report, reading your report. Clear, technical terms and abbreviations should be avoided. Only be used if they are familiar to the readers of your reports. Specific, provide sufficient information to enable the reader to know if the research is likely to be interest of their own field. So what you have decided? What is your topic of your interest?
Adoption of artificial intelligence tools on cost management.
Artificial intelligence?
Adoption
Mhm.
of artificial intelligence tools for cost management.
Cost management.
Cost.
Course.
Yes, COURSE.
So this is the topic which he said. I don't think it is a complete topic. I don't think it's a complete topic. Anybody else? You have to go through the topic again.
Okay.
That's why I am telling you it should be understandable to me. If not understandable to me, I am a person of management, of commerce. The topic is related to me, and it's not clear to me. What is course management?
Education technology, how AI will be integrated in education technology.
Yes, that you can say that this integration of this artificial intelligence in the modern education system, that is a relevant topic. Anybody else have decided? You have decided any topic? Not known. You? Yes. You people may come in front.
Impact
Okay.
of nano-priming on seed germination, root system, and instrumental distribution of crop.
Again.
Impact of nano-priming on seed germination, root system, and instrumental distribution of crops.
Okay. That's a topic which is understandable to me also and you people also. So the topic should be clear, specific. Its topic is too long. It can be. You can make it short also. Short topic. Brief. Avoid obvious phrases like the role of, studies of, an examination of, an investigation into. This is very common words that generally people use. What is the need of this? A study, yes. It's a report, is a study. If you are doing a survey, it's an investigation. If you are doing an analysis, it's an analysis. Need not to write an analysis. So this is not very important, but still the people are writing this. So investigation into, research into, and experiment on. So titles with these words are often too long or not descriptive enough. So example, gender inequality in education and its effect on poverty across state study of India. Okay. So no, I have not written a study of an analysis of gender analysis. So this is quite enough. This is important that cross state study of India. That is important because you are comparing this gender inequality in different states. That is an important part that has to be included in the topic. The title page or which you have to say the cover page of your thesis contains all key information about the document. It's usually include the thesis title, researcher's name, the type of document, it's a thesis or a dissertation or a research report or a project report or a project or a summer training project, whatever, you can write it here. So the department and institution and the university name should be mentioned on the title page for which university you belongs to and under whose guidance you are doing. So the name of the guide should also be present on the front page of your topic, your thesis. The date of submission and the at the end of the cover page. In the session, we write like 2024-25. If your PhD is going to be submitted in 2030, then you will write to 2030 and 31, whatever. So it sometimes also includes your scholar's enrollment number, supervisor's name, and your university's logo at the end, or whatever. There is that depends upon or that vary from university to university. In Integral University, there is no name of the supervisor on the front page of the thesis. So this is the rule of this university, but in other universities, the name of the supervisor is also present. So it sometimes also includes your scholar's enrollment number, etc. Your university will usually tell you exactly what should be included on your title page and how it should be formatted. Be sure to check whether there are specific guidelines, margins, spacing, and font size, etc., which is available on iur.ac.in in the research column. You go through that, how to start writing chapters, what should be the margin, front, left, top, bottom, what will be the font size, what is the font, what is the spacing, everything is mentioned in that. How do you do the referencing of your project, how will how will you make the bibliography, appendixes, and what is the format of a certificate of your supervisor, the certificate of the plagiarism from the librarian of the Integral University. That all is available on the website. You can go through that and get it. This is the basic format of the thesis of this university, which I have just for your showing you. Okay, this is the front page, title page, and the first is the title of the thesis. Then this is submitted in partial fulfillment for the award of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Commerce by this is the researcher's name. Then you can see that there is no name of the supervisor. So this is not allowed here. That's why it's not here. But in Aligarh Muslim University, Delhi University, everywhere, it is to be present on the front page of the thesis. The logo, the department, and at the last, the university name and the session. Session or the date or the month, whatever you can write. What are the other documents apart from the title page is the supervisor certificate, which is to be provided by your supervisor or the guide, under whose guidance you have completed your research work. This supervisor certificate format is also vary from university to university. What is in our university, it's available on our website, so you can go through that. Declaration is also, there is a format, and it is also vary from university to university. Acknowledgement, whatever you want to acknowledge. But here we acknowledgement, we start from our founder chancellor to the supervisor. And we include the chancellor, pro chancellor, the vice chancellor, the registrar, controller of examination, and your supervisor last, and then your whatever to whom you want to acknowledge. You can write even your parents, your family members. That is to be included. Abstract. What is abstract? Hmm. Yes. Sorry. Okay. Yes. So it should be not too long, but it should include all what you have done. It is to be prepared first or at the last? At the last. Yes. That will be a better abstract. You can make it in the first also, but if you prepare abstract at the last, that will be a better way. So you can give all the information in a brief summary of 1 or 2 pages. What you have, what you did in your first chapter, second chapter, third chapter, and the last chapter, all should be included. List of abbreviation, if you use, that has to be presented on a after the abstract. List of symbols if you use in scientific research, physics or chemistry or mathematics, there are certain symbols that is to be mentioned in your front pages. List of figures on which page, no talking please. List of figures, whatever figure you are going to put in your thesis, that is to be listed on the front pages. And what page which figure is there, the name of the figure number, and the page on which this figure is available, that has to be prepared. Like you can see in the books also, these things are available. One list of figures, list of tables, and at last the contents on which chapter is at which page. This is about the acknowledgement. So, to thank those who are directly involved in your work, I have given to in what is the pattern of this university. You have to first thank your chancellor, founder, and so do not confuse the acknowledgement section with the dedication. What is dedication? Your work is dedicated to whom? Your parents, your father, your mother, or your entire family, whatever. So one page you can put after the acknowledgement of the dedication. It should be a separated part from acknowledgement. It should not be included in the acknowledgement. The acknowledgements are about courtesy, where you thank those who were directly involved in your work or be involved in supporting your work, technicians, statisticians whose help you have taken, tutors, other researchers, financial support if you got from some organization, financial agency, scholarship from your country, that is to be acknowledged in this part of acknowledgement. So this section tends to be very brief, a few lines at the most, identify those who provide you with the most support and thank them apparently. Abstract, I have explained you the purpose to summarize the entire report for a quick reading. Those who do not want to go through the entire work, they can only read your abstract or preface also. So if you, one of the important part in this is that, okay, for example, you are doing a study on, for example, the financial literacy in the central UP, financial literacy amongst the women in the central UP. So what is central UP? Means the districts which comes under the UP. So you cannot go through the data for collect the data from all the cities of the Uttar Pradesh. You can mention that what cities you have taken in your preface. We have taken Kanpur, Lucknow, Allahabad, Gorakhpur. These are the cities from where we have collected the data. So that can be mentioned in the abstract or a preface. So this is an important part that I have explained to you. It is independent of the rest of the report. It is a mini report. In our university, a brief booklet of your abstract is to be submitted along with the thesis, and that has to be sent to the examiner first. They go through the abstract and then they decide, okay, this thesis is related to me or not. If I am a person of a HR, human resource, and the thesis is coming from finance, so that is, I cannot better evaluate your thesis. So I will reject that after reading the abstract. No, sir, send to somebody else because I am the person of human resource management. So nothing should be appear in the abstract that is not in the interest of the report. Usually between 200 to 300 words only. This is the standard number of words which is to be included in the report. Write in the past tense in a single paragraph. It is recommended that you write your abstract after your report. That we have already explained you. Now come to the introduction part. To state the research problem, establish your hypothesis, provide justification, and state the methods, results, and conclusions that you will draw. So you must describe your research objectives clearly and simply, explain and define your work, and state why it is to be distinctive from the work of the other people who have already done on the same topic. So this particular area is the gap of the previous researchers. So we are doing this, or we want to do it. If your work is not original, just give the current background information about the research problem. If it is original, you will need to provide a comprehensive literature review of the work preceding or closely related to it. Show the gap in the existing knowledge. Briefly describe how you intend to answer the problem and give your results. Here, details is not needed here. Leave that for the appropriate section. That is the analysis and interpretation of your data. Write most of the introduction in the present tense, since you are describing current problem and current conclusions. So details of methods, results given in the introduction should be in the past tense. Literature review, literature survey, which is also called literature review or a survey or a review of a research. We have first question asked with you, have you started your review of literature or not? This is what is this. So this is the survey of publications, book, journals, authoritative websites, sometimes conferences, papers presented by the research scholars or the professors in different conferences held in other countries also, reporting work that has already been done on the topic of your report or related to your report. So it should only include studies that have direct relevance to your research work. So you cannot go through all the literature review which is not related to your topic. If we are talking about the financial literacy among the women, we have to go through the literature related to the financial literacy. We cannot go to the other literacy. So a literature survey should be written like an essay in a descriptive styles. But I will tell you one thing, that you have to make a chart in which you have to make 4 columns. The first is the serial number, the second is the author, third is the observation of the author, and fourth is the your observation, and the last is the gap related to your topic. You all have to make this chart or start making this chart. It will, you can show in your RDCs also. Serial number, second column, author's name. Third, author's view. Next, your observation or my observation. And the last is the gap identified related to your topic. Gap identified. What gap related to your topic? And that literature is that. That has to be mentioned in one sentence or one line. If you will make this, you will do 100. At last, you will have an entire work. From the last column, you can write your research gap. You have to start this or start making this chart immediately of social science, humanities. I don't know what to do in medicine or science, what kind of a review do, but maybe the same. Procedure may be the same. Yes.
So this can be the chart which you have kept. This can be added in the annexure or after the literature review.
This is the part of the literature review. You will not write like this chart. This chart is useful for your explanation to the examiners.
For literature analysis.
Yes. But you will not write this in the report. You will write in the report in a format which is available in this university. But this chart is needed in the presentation of your RDCs. How much literature you've gone through, you can say, this is the chart. This is the observation of the author. This is my observation. This is the gap. I have gone through so many papers, journals, literature, and this is the final result of that. Okay. So review of literature should be written like an essay in a descriptive style in your report. This is apart from that. So introduce your review by explaining how you want about finding your materials and any clear trends in research that have emerged. Group your text in in themes. Write about each theme as a separate section. Give a critical summary of each piece of work and showing it relevance to your research. Conclude with how the review has informed your research. Things you will be building. That is the gap you identified from the entire review which you have done in the course of action. Next is the material and method, which is also known as research methodology. What method you will have to use. These are the chapters also. What is the first chapter? Introduction. Second, review of literature. Third, research methodology. These are the common chapters you will write in your thesis when you will start writing your thesis. Okay. So the purpose is provide an extensive protocol for your experiment, which can be repeated by others. This is essentially an instruction manual to enable reproduction of the work and should provide details of the experimental design, which you have already studied in your previous classes, details of the control, experiment and observations used, including their purpose, details of the data recording techniques you have used in your, or you are going to use, or you have used in your research, exact quantities and purities of reagents, compound or system in technical scientific research, technical specification of the apparatus you are going to use in your labs, specific method of sample preparation, how you prepare the samples, accurate nomenclature have to be mentioned in this research methodology subject. Research process should be included in this. Precise detail of any subject samples include in the study, details of the sampling protocols. Sampling size is also important to be mentioned here in the research methodology. How you have decided to this particular number of respondents to be investigated or to be used in your research. This is also called research methodology in social science and humanities. You need to write your method section in such a way that a reader could replicate the research you have done. There should be no ambiguity here. So you need to write in a very factual, informative style your research methodology. You need to state clearly how you carried out your investigation, experiment, explain why you choose this particular method, questionnaire you have developed, focus group, experimental procedures, schedules, include techniques and any equipment you use. If there were participants in your research, who were they, how many, how were they selected? If you are doing a research in which the respondents are both the dealers and the customers, for example, you have to develop two different questionnaires and get the data from both of them. Then you can prove your hypothesis which you have generated. What is hypothesis?
Scientific presumption and assumptions.
Assumptions, yes.
Presumption.
Based on hypotheses are always based on
Intuitions.
objectives. And objectives are drawn from research problem.
Yes.
Yeah, or research gap which you are going to investigate. What is first? Most important part is on which the entire research is based.
Objectives are first.
Gap, yes. Research gap, a research question. That is the base of your work. The entire research is based on that. Your objective, your hypothesis, your analysis, development of your questionnaire, your experiments, your investigations, everything, the respondents, who will be the respondents we are talking here. That is depend upon the research gap which you are going to fill through your research. So write this section concisely but thoroughly. Go through what you did step by step, including everything that is relevant. You know what you did, but could a reader follow your description, the process which you are going to adopt in your entire thesis? Type of research, type of data collection method, research design, research process. What is research process? This is the revision class because this is the last topic. This is the last topic that you are going to conclude your research methodology. This is the concluding unit.
It's a series of
What is research process?
What we
The
have
whole
studied
process.
is
Hmm?
The whole process since we identify the problem.
Yes.
At the end.
This is the first step. What is the second step?
it is the series of
Identification of a problem is the first step. Yes, you are right. What is the second?
Extensive literature, sir. Literature.
Literature review. Very good. Then formulating.
hypothesis.
That is after the objectives.
Yes, formulating hypothesis.
After review,
Formulation.
identification of a research gap. Problem is the first. Identifying the problem because you have already decided this is my area of interest, this which I want to do my work. But research gap is to check whether this work has already been done or not, or what area of this research problem is not being identified by the previous researchers, that I am going to do it. Then your work will be useful for the person who need that. Results, also called data analysis or findings. So the purpose is to present your data in a manner that is easy to read and interpret. Interpretation of data means in the table which you have made, you have to explain that table. Why this is 2 and why this is 3. Why this is -3, this is why this is 6. That has to be explained. Nobody can know the result through the table or a graph unless you will have to interpret that data in your own words. So that is important. So this is where the core of the work is presented. Your experimental data clarity is essential since the rest of your report centers on what you present here. So result section should be kept brief and repetition of the methods or results should be avoided. Relationship between your data should be described in a text, your result section. So this is nothing but to explain what you have done or what you want to show through a graph or what you want to show through a table. That has to be explained very well in this section. Never discuss the implication of your results in the result section. Save this for the discussion. So this is important. Your result section may have subheadings which complement the headings in your material and method section. Do not attempt to exclude results that do not fit in your thesis. Do not present all your raw data in your analysis section. That has to be analyzed very well by using statistical tools. A pre-designed representative sample is usually adequate for analyzing your data. Make sure tables, graphs, and figures are numbered and labeled, and that has to be mentioned in your initial pages. List of tables, a list of figures, a list of graphs or pictures. Discussion section is the purpose of this section is to discuss the relationship between your results and how they relate to your initial objectives and hypotheses. First, you have to develop the objectives on the basis of your research gap or research problem. Then you will develop the hypothesis, and that hypothesis, whether it is a null or alternative, that has to be checked through your pilot study. What is pilot study? You know what is pilot study? Pilot, P-I-L-O-T.
So when we used to, when we are going to study, when we are going to implement a study in this small population around less than 50 pilot study.
It's a private survey before the real survey.
Yeah, before the entire survey, getting the data for your entire population, you have to check with a few number of respondents if the results are okay or not as per your assumptions, hypothesis. Okay? That is called pilot study. So when you develop your questionnaire, to check your questionnaire is valid or not, so the validity of questionnaire can be checked through pilot study or results of the pilot study. Good. So do not summarize your results. Discuss how your results are similar to or different from the published findings and attempts to explain the differences. If you cannot find a good explanation for your results, admit it. It is better to admit uncertainty. That should not be vague. So rather than make it a poor excuse for your results, so that has to be clearly explained in the result section. State your conclusion and build on them with evidence from literature, making sure you are clear with findings belong to you. Discuss the significance of your findings and any future implication that is to be needed in your future research. Write in the present tense most of the time when discussing your data. Write in the past tense when discussing future implications. So write in the future tense. References, also called the bibliography. This is to be presented at the last of your after the last chapter of your thesis or your project. Bibliography is the references that you have cited in your thesis. So to acknowledge the sources to avoid plagiarism and strengthen your arguments with support from the existing literature, you have to mention that in each figure which you have taken from the website or from any other work, that has to be right source from where you have taken it. If you are taking any table or of data, for example, RBI data, you can write RBI bulletin below your table in the bracket. That is called source, from where you have taken it. That has to be acknowledged. Otherwise, it will be a plagiarism. So make sure that you include your references as you write. Tracking back to find references is a difficult task. You have to start writing the references, numbering the references. If your footnote are not there, what is footnote? There is a method of referencing.
Mention at the last, at the bottom of the page for the
Yes.
for the reference.
If you have taken any reference on a page, that has to be numbered and put the reference in the last of that page by making a line. You draw a line, and after the line you have to write number 1, and this is the reference, Mr. Smith or Mr. ABC, the title of the paper and the publisher name. So check with your department for advice on the appropriate referencing system. So what is the referencing system in Integral University is available in the website's research section. You can go through that and see. Then otherwise you will be in difficult if you already make the referencing as per your own. So what is needed in Integral University, that has to be available on the website, and you do that kind of a referencing style. Otherwise you will have to review the entire work. So list here full details for any work you have referred to in the report, including books, journals, websites, and other materials which you have used from any conference or any symposium or seminar. You may also need to list what you have used in preparing your report, but have not exactly referred to check your instructions for this, and for that correct style of referencing is important. So that is, I told you, okay, what is the style the Integral University need, that is available on the website, and you can start making your referencing, because review of literature is entirely a referencing work. Whatever review you will have to mention in your thesis, that has to be referred in the reference section or bibliography. Yeah. These are the different referencing styles which are available in research. The common referencing style is APA style, MLA, Chicago, Harvard, IEEE for engineering. And Vancouver style. So APA style is the American Psychological Association. This is common in social science. And the key features are author, date in text, citation. Example, Smith 2023. This is the paper we are going to cite. So how you will cite in APA style? The example is this: Smith J, then date in bracket 2023, book title, for example, Human Resource Management, and publisher is, for example, XYZ publisher. Clear? So this is called American Psychological Association style. This is one of the style. Now come to the second style, is the Harvard style, widely used across all the disciplines. Author, date in text, citation. The reference list with detailed publication information. So in the previous example, for example, we will use Smith J, date, book title, and publisher. This is almost same like the previous one. This is the IEEE style, is used in technical fields, engineering mostly. The engineers who are sitting here, they maybe know better. What is IEEE? Engineering background. How much?
Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineering.
Yeah. So that is to be used in engineering researchers, the numbered in text citation 1, like in this form, in a bracket, you can write 1 and reference list numerically. So in this example, the reference list will be 1. So you start writing, giving numbering from your first reference to the last reference. So that will be a better. So Smith book, the first we have write the number in bracket 1, Smith book title, publisher, and the last is the date. So this is the IEEE style of referencing. MLA style, modern language association, used in humanities, literature, arts. So author, page in text citation, example, work cited. So you can see that first we use Smith John, the name, then the book title, then the publisher name, XYZ or Star Publishing or whatever, and then the year of publishing of that, uh, I mean the paper in the journal. Okay. So this is the MLA style. Another is Chicago style, which is very common, and we also use this. This is also used in humanities, history, fine arts, and two formats: notes of bibliography and author date. Both are used as footnotes, with what I told you earlier, and bibliography. Both we have to use. So earlier we were using in Integral University footnotes and bibliography both, but now we are not using that, and we are using Chicago style of this. I'm sorry, this MLA style or other styles. So footnote 1, John Smith, book title, publisher, this, and the same in the bibliography we'll have to mention the John book title, publisher, and the year of publication. Okay. So this you can differentiate further in different styles of this. Walkover style is common in medical and scientific fields. Those who are medical people. How many are medical people? From medicine? Okay. You also? Very good. So this is basically used by the medical and scientific research, numbered in text citation, sequentially ordered reference list. So you can see the reference list 1 is with from the entire thesis, book title, publisher, etc. This is the chart which I have made for different styles. You can go through that. The APA, social sciences mostly use, MLA, humanities, history and arts use Chicago styles, Harvard, multidisciplinary, commerce and management also use this. Harvard styles, IEEE is the engineering background, people are technical researchers, they use this, and work over medical and scientific research. So in text format, author, year is important, and reference list, author, year, title. So this is the chart which can briefly explain what you have to do. What is appendixes? What is the important document that you have to put in your thesis as appendix? Your questionnaire. Your questionnaire that you have to put in your thesis as an appendix, or any extra material which you would like to show in your thesis, that has to be put in the appendix section. This is the last section. So to present additional data that is too extensive to be included in the thesis part, that you can show, that like the balance sheet of different companies, we can put in the.
Sir, appendix or exhibit?
Both are same. Annexures and appendix are same, yes. Annexures means extra, which you want to annex. An appendix is that part which you cannot include in your thesis and would like to show. So that you can put it here. Like I show the questionnaire. Never, you cannot put your questionnaire in the thesis part, even in pilot study also. But if you want to show what questions you have asked, from where the results comes, that you can put in the appendix. The appendix are not included in all scientific reports, however, they are frequently included in the back of the thesis. For example, the printouts of raw data and other supplementary materials may be included as appendix at the back of your thesis. This is the last part of your thesis. Some electronic journals now offer scientific and opportunity to include extra materials that are too extensive to be put in the main body of the journal or main body of your report. So the appendices hold any additional information that may be put in the thesis or required to be mentioned as per the as per the researcher's choice. So that might include, for instance, interview question, raw data, or any other thing you would like to mention here. So these are the different types of research reports: long and short reports, internal and external reports, vertical, lateral, personal, functional, informational, analytical, formal, informal. These are basic periodic reports. These are the different types of reports generally uh, the researchers do or prepare. The formal reports are carefully structured as per the requirement of that report. So if you talk about the financial report, there that are different format. They have different formats. Scientific research, they have different formats. The universities also their formats of thesis also different. Dissertations are different. So that depends upon what structure you have to follow in your research report. That is the formal reports. So are written in a style that tend to eliminate such elements as personal pronouns. So informal reports, on the other hand, are usually short messages with the natural, casual use of the language. The internal memorandum can generally be designed as the informal report. If you write something through WhatsApp, that is an informal report. But if you are mailing a report on a set format given by the company or given by the organization, that is the formal report. Short or long report depends upon the type of report. So this is a confusing classification. One page memorandum is obviously short and 20-page report is clearly long. So this is depend upon the research which you are going to investigate or the report which you are going to provide. That may be a long or a short. Informational and analytical report. So informational reports are annual reports, monthly financial reports, and reports of personal absenteeism of the employees in the company, whatever. Carry objective information from one area to another, on an organization to another. Analytical reports, on the other hand, have scientific research, feasibility reports, real estate appraisal, uh, present attempts to solve the problem. The analytical report contains the presentation of your results in the form of the graphs or the diagrams, and that has to be clearly explained what you want to say, what you would like to say through that report. Uh, proposal reports are the proposal which you are going to present to your company, to your university, to your organization. So this proposal is a variation of problem solving reports. A proposal is a document prepared to describe how one organization can meet the needs of another organization. Most governmental agencies advertise their needs by issuing requests for proposal. So that depends upon the set format of submitting a proposal. If you would like to submit a proposal to our vice chancellor for starting a new course, so There is no set format for that, but what to be included in that, okay, what is the course content will be, what are the subjects in each semester, that has to be explained, that how this course is important, uh, whether this course is required by the industry or not, that has to be mentioned there. What will be the intake of that course, have to be mentioned there. What will be the procedure of when you would like to start this course. So these are the proposal reports. Vertical or lateral. This classification refers to direction of the report travel from upward to downward or from left to right. If no talking please. So vertical reports and lateral reports are also commonly used in the companies for reporting to the hierarchy from downward to the upward, from a clerk to the managing director or from managing director to a clerk instructions. That is the vertical and lateral reports. So such reports contribute to management control. Lateral reports, on the other hand, assist in coordination in the organization. A report traveling between units of the same organization. For example, the financial manager is in the same rank to the HR manager, same in the rank to the marketing manager. So if there is a correspondence between these level, that is called lateral reports. If a vertical means from upward to downward or downward to upward. So on a set format issued by the company, whether it is digitally or through a set format in a physical form of a paper or document. Internal and external reports, on the other hand, within the organization, external reports such as annual reports, which are used by the investors or other companies for investing in that company, that is for external. Internal reports are generally used in within the organization, like a report of a customer's behavior about a particular product which we are going to launch. That is the internal report. But if we are providing that report to any other, if we have producing some product in collaboration with or in a joint venture with a foreign company like KFC, so that report have to be sent to the KFC also. That will be the external report. Okay, what is the KFC is useful in Lucknow city or not? So that is also important for the KFC to give franchisee to Indian company or not. So that is external report. Periodically report are the report sent on a set format in each period, weekly reports, monthly reports, daily reports, hourly reports. In production units, the hourly reports are important. Okay, how much production has been come out from the machine in a particular hour, in a particular day, then in a particular week. That has to be important for those who are booking the orders, external orders, for the marketing people, the merchandising people. This is important. So I can give you the example related to my field. I'm sorry, I cannot give examples related to the scientific fields. So functional reports are the classification includes the accounting reports, marketing reports, the different functional departments of the organization, a variety of other report that is related to that, from ultimate use to the concerned department. So almost all reports could include in most of these categories. There are certain reports based on the nature of the research. For example, the qualitative research report and quantitative research report. So it outlines the method, process, and findings of the qualitative methods of systematic investigation. In educational research, a qualitative research report provides an opportunity for one to apply for his or her knowledge and develop skills in planning. And if you are using the qualitative data and preparing a report, that is a qualitative report. If you are using the data in the quantitative number form and explaining through the diagrams or graphs, that is quantitative reports. On the other hand, qualitative reports is usually descriptive in nature Hence, in addition to presenting details of the research process, you must also create a descriptive narrative of the information. Um, Quantitative reports, the type of systematic investigation that pays attention to numerical, statistical values in a bit to find answer to the research question. So that is quantitative report. If you are using the data and what you will do, analyze after getting the results of your experiments in the lab, or you get data through the distribution of the questionnaires amongst the relevant respondents. So that is the quantitative reports. Based on the target audience, scientific reports, also research report can be said to be technical or popular based on the target audience. If you are dealing with the general audience, you would need to present a popular research report. And if you are dealing with the specialized audience, specialized people, you would submit a technical report. So technical research report is detailed document that you present after carrying out industry-based research. This report is highly specialized because it provides information for the technical audience. Um, Summary of the results, nature of the study, method employed, data collection method, what type of data you use, secondary or primary data. So analysis of data and presentation of finding that you will do in your research. That is the technical research report. Conclusion, bibliography, technical appendixes and index, whatever. Popular research report is one of the general audience. This is for the general audience, that is for individuals who do not necessarily have any knowledge in the field of study. A popular research report aims to make information accessible to everyone, not for technical people or specialized people. So the findings of their implications, which is needed for the general public, recommendation for action, whatever research, for example, the UP government is doing for implementing of the national education or new education policy. So that is for all the people, for example, the parents, the students, the universities, colleges. So this is for all. That is important because everybody would like to put their child in schools. The objective of the study, method employed, results, and technical appendices are also required in this kind of reports. Manuscript of a journal article. What is manuscript? Can anybody explain manuscripts? What is this?
Kind of a blueprint related to the research paper.
Yes, research paper or any kind of a report which you have made it by yourself and sending it for publication. So, if they will think that okay, it is good enough to publish, they will publish as it is. If they want to review it or give it to the reviewer will give their comments, and then you will have to implement that comments. So, when you will implement that comments and make it and resubmit the manuscript, and it will be published, and it will become a published article. So, before publication, it is a manuscript. Thesis and dissertation, you all know and you all did in your post graduation. So a dissertation is typically written by the student, part for master's degree or Ph.D. or other higher degree. The dissertation thesis usually provides a detailed account of the research design, methods, results. The process of writing a dissertation is also same like a thesis. So, but it is a small part of a thesis because in thesis you have to investigate a complex problem. But in your dissertation, you have to choose a particular specific problem of an industry or any particular object that you are going to investigate. So, monograph or books, research monographs can be reformatted edition of your dissertation, thesis, or other not worthy research report. For example, you have written a very good dissertation and it has been sent to the publisher for publication of as a reference book. That is a monograph. So if they will publish it, it will become a reference book. Otherwise, it is a monograph. These are the steps in writing research reports. So very common. Consulting instructions and guidelines to discover what required for the report means your research problem, identifying the problem, discussing this problem with your colleagues, your seniors, your guide, your professors, and those who are involved in that particular area of interest. So that is the first part which is related to consulting. Anticipating your audience by seeking who will be the reading the report. The report will be useful for which sector of the society. Whether it is important for the government, it is important for the businessman, it is important for the industry, it is important for the educational institution, whatever. That is to be kept in your mind before deciding your topic. Planning and carefully outlining the report's contents and structure, designing and preparing tables, figures, and other supplementary materials. These are the different steps. Drafting the section of the report in the most productive order. Order is very important part. You cannot write your research methodology in the last. You have to write as a third chapter. Because first introduction, second review, third research methodology. So, where you have to put your section on a particular space in your thesis, that is important. So, adding or finishing citations and references in your report, that is bibliography, is also important. Revising contents, editing language, and correcting errors is also very important. In the last, you have to be very careful about the plagiarism report. So it should not be more than 10% in your thesis also. And whatever you are using, you have to cite in your thesis. These are the mechanism of writing a research report. The size and physical design, that is different from different universities, as I told you in my earlier starting point. So the manuscript should be written or unruled paper in size as prescribed by the university. If it is to be written by hand, then black or blue ink, whatever ink they have to use. In some universities in Saudi Arabia, they need the handwritten thesis. So in our this Nadwa room also, the research scholars, they write entire thesis by hand in Urdu. So in that case, the ink is whatever ink is prescribed by the institution is to be used. What is the margin? A margin of at least 1.5 inch should be allowed at the left hand, at least half an inch at the right hand, and the paper. The same is is allowed here is also. So there should be there should also be 1 inch margin from top to bottom, top and bottom. It is a two space is required of a font of 12, and for headings at all font of 14 is required, no underline, nothing. And point should also be mentioned 3.1, 3.1.1, and that depends upon that differentiate from university to university. Procedure: various steps in writing the report should be strictly adhered. All such steps have already been explained earlier in this chapter. Layout: keeping in view the objective and nature of the problem, the layout of the report should be thought of any and decided and accordingly adopted. Uh, Treatment of quotations: quotation should be placed in quotation marks and double space formatting an immediate part of the text. come to the footnote. If it is allowed, it is not allowed in our university. Footnote are not required in, as I know, in humanities, social science, management, and commerce. I don't know what is in medical or scientific researches. Footnotes are not placed at the bottom of the page. They cite reference or comments on the design part of the text about it. For example, say you want to add an interesting comment to a sentence you have written, but the comment is not directly related to the argument of your paragraph. In this case, you could add the symbol for a footnote and can be put in the bottom. So then at the bottom of the page, you could reprint the symbol and insert your comment. This is the example of the footnote. So this is an illustration. The number one, which we put in the paragraph, one, and the end of the previous sentence correspond with the note below. See how it is to be present. One, at the bottom of the page, you can insert your comment after the line. There is a line in the bottom of the page, and below the line, you will have to put one and write your comment. That is footnote. Documentation style. Regarding documentation, the first footnote reference to any given work should be complete in its documentation, giving all the essential facts about the edition used. Such documentary footnotes follow a general sequencing. These are the common order may be described as under regarding the single volume reference, regarding the multi-volume reference, regarding work arranged alphabetically, regarding the periodicals references, anthologies and collection of references, quotations uh, uh, from anthology or collections of literary work must be acknowledged. That is not very important. Case of study or case study that is to be put in the thesis. Punctuation and abbreviations in the footnotes. Use of statistic charts or graphs is important part. That is very important to be put in the thesis. So, a judicious use of statistics in research reports in the form of a table is often considered a virtue for to contribute a great deal towards the clarification and simplification of the material of the research result which you want to explain or show through graph, pie charts, or bar charts, or any other kind of a figure. The revised and rewriting the rough draft of the report should be done with great care before writing the final draft. This is a very common thing. Whenever you have to give your spiral binding to your pre-PhD for presenting in the pre-PhD, that should be very carefully uh, checked. The grammatical mistakes and other things through different people, because if I am writing, uh, I cannot go through that mistakes which I did again and again, and another people can also take that or can see that thing. So it is better that you have to give your thesis to some other people to read it carefully and advise any mistake, grammatical mistake is appeared in the thesis. Bibliography should be prepared and appended to the research report as discussed. Preparation of the index at the end of the report, and index should be or content should be invariably be given, the value of which lies in the fact that it acts as a good guide to the reader who is reading your thesis. So this is an important part that is called index or a content, which page which is available, which if you are giving any model, at which page that model is available, or any unique thing which you are giving to your thesis, that has to be clearly mentioned in the index. So this is all about the report. Now, another important is how you will present that report. This is the presentation part of your report. You are going to present your report. So you did the entire work very thoroughly, checked and everything has been done. It is important how you can present it to the persons who need your report or who are the useful people would like to make use of your report. The presentation is very important. Effective communication and presentation are required 7 C's: clear, correct, complete, concrete, concise, consideration, courteous. These are the 7 C's of better presentation or communication of your research work. So effective communication and presentation is important, you know. How many of you can make PPT? Everybody? Huh? And who can make good PPT? So nowadays everything is the presentation. How can you present your work? If I am I mean, intelligent person, I can give very good, I can do a very good, but how can I present that? That is very important. That my work check I'm there, but I don't know. I want to show my work. So this is now the days are of show. How you can? This is the show business. But so that show business can be presented in a very useful manner. So it is also equally important to learn the art of presenting your research work findings by the researchers. You may have obtained very interesting results, but communicating your finding effectively is also very important. So this what happens when you present your work in your RDCs and research and development committees. Whatever you did in your last 6 months, that has to be presented very well in front of the evaluators who are sitting, uh, would be sitting in your second RDC. So you will show that this is my synopsis. It should be prepared very good in a very proper manner as per the required information which are required that has to be present in the PPT presentation. So the topic should be clear. You should consult with some other people, some other professors. So the RDC could not put any mark on your topic. Otherwise, the topic has been changed in the first RDC or the second RDC. And in some RDCs, like fourth RDC, the topics are going to change. So this should not be happen with you people. You have to decide your topic thoroughly, clearly. मैंने जो बताया कि it should be clear, brief, it should be very specific, and give the full meaning of your research problem. That should be shown through your objective clearly mentioned. So this is how can you present your synopsis after completion of your coursework, your first RDC. You will have to show your synopsis. That has to be. You have to start making that. It is also important to understand how you make an effective oral presentation. It can be a conference paper, some reading, or presentation in a in-house symposium or a conference or a workshop. Presentation of thesis is also important in your final viva OC examination. The entire work you will have to show in within a timing. Timing is there in half an hour. So you can make 25 slides. That is quite enough to show your work, entire work. It should not be written the theorems or theory or everything, but just mention the points in the presentation. Then presentation should also be very concise. So what 7 C's says, that has to be implemented in your presentation. Timings is important. And, it should not be happen that you have given half an hour and you have started reading and it will take 1.5 hours. The audience should understand what you are saying. The audience should be understandable to your language, understandable to your pronunciation, understandable your symbols or anything which you are using in your technical report, that depends upon what audience is sitting. In technical reports, in medical reports, we cannot sit because we do not understand what they are saying, the scientific names. Contents is important. Organization, how you organize your PPT presentation, which slide should be first, which slide should be second, which slide should be last. Presentation tools you have to use, animation or any kind of thing you would like to put in your presentation to make it attractive. That is also very important in your thesis. Tone and body language of the speaker is also very important part. How confident you are looking, that is very important. If you are just sitting and giving and reading the presentation, the evaluator will think he did not do this work and has taken the help of some other researcher and start asking questions. So you should be bold enough in speaking in front of the audience that whatever I am presenting, I have a full knowledge of that. It is not, if you do not have any knowledge, you do not put that material in the presentation. That I have explained you all these things. These are the notes you can go through for your exams. Presentation rules I have explained. Everybody use PowerPoint presentation, most effective tools for presentation. Choose background color, text color. Sometimes they use black color and blue color. It does not give good presentation in front of the audience and the evaluators. Then your presentation should be light background and dark color of your words. Choose background color, text color, and such a way that it would be visible in more or less any interior lighting. Do not go for fancy. Keep it basic. Most importantly, be consistent throughout. Do not use different background color for different slides. It should be consistent. All the slides should be consistent. Should not have the header and footer. It is not required in your presentation of your thesis or your work which you are going to present in the RDCs. So do not play with colors. Use multiple colors only when required in the diagrams or in pie charts or any histogram or anything else. You may use animation, but do not overdo. Animation you can use, but should not be in every slide there is animation. चलता हुआ आ रहा है, घूमता हुआ आ रहा है. That should not be. It is okay to website slide space, but never overcrowd slides. Slides should not be overcrowded. You can read easily. The last page can read easily. The slide should be like that. If the last benches are not able to read, it is not a good slide. Tone and body language of the speaker I have already explained you, and you know better how to present, how to be confident. And this is all about this. So the next topic is your research ethics. I think this is the last topic of this 5th unit. So I'll take tomorrow. Okay. Thank you so much. Is there any question? Sorry. Is there any question? Yeah. Yes. What is here is that bank is your audience, all the banks are
Try to